appreciate you being here on this show, man. You know, it's been a long time coming.
I appreciate you having me on here, man.
For sure, man, for sure. So, why don't you tell the listeners out there, man, about yourself, man, before we get into this powerful book here, man?
Well, as far as myself goes, I'm 25 right now, but I come from the inner city. I come from a single-parent household. My father's been incarcerated since I was 4. I had lost a brother to gang violence. So I'm very familiar with the struggle of my community and family, family issues, and division within the family and things like that.
Right.
And also, I decided to write this book at the age of 18, and I made that happen. Published it at 21, and then after that, I went to college, took a couple classes, got it published, and I sold the book. Became 22 years old, moved my mom out of my community because it was, infested with nothing but negativity and
toxic issues and all that.
And I needed to get away so that way I can come back and provide what, the necessary, essential things that I knew my community needed.
Right.
I helped a couple, young youths and friends along the way as I was going through this process of publishing the book before I did leave. But I felt I needed to get in school and accomplish bigger goals so that I can come back and set up a program maybe later on. And right now I'm about to wrap up my schooling at Cerritos College.
Okay.
And I'm planning my end goal is to become a lawyer. Published my second book that I'm working on right now, and go from there. Do whatever I need to do.
That's what's up.
To help young black males, and get them educated, informed, and ready to take on this world of white supremacy.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. 25 years old, man. Man, you got a mind of a 45-year-old, man. And that's a compliment because of, you're very, you have wisdom. You know what I'm saying? You're filled with knowledge, and you've been, exposed around toxic issues in the community. You know what I'm saying? Straight from the ghetto. We all been there before, bro. We all been there. We came from the same backyard. A question I want to ask you, where you grew up at, man? I had a curious question, yeah.
I grew up in Long Beach.
Okay.
But I have family members. My father used to go back and forth to Compton, so I have a lot of family members that were involved in gangs, and a lot of family members who died from it, went to jail from it.
Yeah.
So it was something to me that was just, what's the problem here? So I had to take a step back and analyze what I wanted out of my life,
right? And
if I wanted to, what is worth sacrificing myself for. So I figured I ended up taking a class with a powerful teacher. She saw something in me through something I had said in the classroom, and this case happened.
Yeah.
And then I just took heed to this, and I figured out what life was about, and I felt that this was worth dying for and living for.
Right.
Helping my community and my people.
Right. You being a voice for the community. You being a voice for the people that then came from the struggle, that grew up in the struggle, and they know what it's like as a young individual trying to find a way in the hood, trying to find that direction.
Yes.
Link up with mentors that can guide you into the direction where you at now today.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Break it down to us, man. We all ears, babe. We all ears.
What kind of got me to grips with reality was I just saw, because let me start here. My mother was older. She was not too much older, but she was a little bit more experienced than some of my peers who had younger mothers. And because of that, I had a little bit more leverage of as far as life goes.
Right.
And knowledge and information on how to be different.
Right.
Because of who my mother was. So because of that, I'm seeing my father in prison, by the time I was 4 years old, I said, you know, my father's in jail. You know, I wasn't a crybaby kid, so I said, okay, I need to raise myself.
Right.
You know, I need to talk to myself as if I was my own father at this age, at 4.
Yeah.
And because of that, I was able to. I kind of had always felt like I had a little bit leg up than my peers, you know, because of my mother was so advanced and she was determined, hardworking, as opposed to other people's parents who were young and naive to certain stuff. And let's be honest, sometimes ignorant to themselves as a black person,
right,
and what they need to accomplish as far as life and taking care of their kids, taking care of their household and themselves,
right,
and working and getting things done for their kids and their future.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing as far as my mother goes. But as far as the gangs and my dad and my brothers, I always said, dang, you know what? When I'm with, you know, my mom has exposed me to this side.
Yeah.
And then I see that we hate each other so much. And then I realize that it's a different type of gang, and it's different enemies out here, like the police and these racist people.
Right.
And I see them. That's a gang right there to me.
Right.
A race is a gang.
Yeah.
In a way. So I saw that as something I felt was bigger than what everybody else, way bigger than what everybody else was seeing and chasing and, you know, trying to put on the front for.
Right, right.
Because I said, something ain't real right here. Something is not right, you know? Something that has no substance, carries no gravity into what can truly be done as far as long term, you know?
Right. Yeah, because it was like, it all plays a role into like racism, politics, society, culture. It's like all in one gumbo, you know what I mean? Because like me, I grew up in South Central LA, you know what I'm saying? That's been like my stepping ground. So I get what you're saying, like, you know, for us to make it in life without getting out there gang banging and everything, it's like you're doing something positive, something constructive that keep you like out of the streets. If it's finding hobbies to keep you occupied, or being around positive people to keep you occupied, you know what I mean, instead of being around negativity. And which is true, because it's sad that it's hard, like, for our own culture, like our own people as black people, to trust one another, work together and stick together, instead of just cutthroating each other, making promises that can't be kept. You know what I mean? So that's like, if somebody say, well, I'm gonna do something for you, I'm gonna change your life, I'm gonna make your life right, but all of a sudden they play dumb with you. It's like they didn't say that from the beginning, making promises that you can't keep. And you know, we came from that kind of environment where we look up to people, and the people we look up to make promises that they can't keep.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like now we have to find our own way, which is nothing wrong with that, because it makes us stronger and it teaches us how to be independent as individuals. So, man, look, what inspired you, man, to write this book, man? This powerful book, what we should all do after the Trayvon Martin trial. Like,
honest,
how did it dawn on you? Like, I'm curious to know, because this book, man, it's a powerful book. I've been reading this book, and let me tell you, you hit some great points here, because everything that you're saying in this book is what's happening now today.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
And to be honest, I felt I was challenged. To be honest, I felt like America was challenging me, and they wanted war, and I'm not about to be a victim.
Right. So
I said, hold on, man. I didn't want to just go out and go, go on a rampage like a maniac and do damage to people who are racist or cops or something like that.
Right.
I said, it's got to be another way, you know, a way better way. So I sat back and I said, what can I do? I kept contemplating, what can I do? But what gave me the know-how and the confidence was I had took a class at Cerritos College, and it was my first semester. And I ran into a professor who was teaching black images in popular culture class. And I had raised my hand and said something, and then she told me to stay after class. And after that, she was telling me, you know, that I'm smart and this and that. And I don't, you know, you don't get that. You know, your parents tell you that, but sometimes, you know, your parents tell you stuff, you know,
to encourage you.
Yeah. And when you hear it from outside, it's a little different. It gives you a different gravity because they don't know you. Right. You know. So she told me this, and then it was my first semester. I'm fresh out of high school, so I got a C in her class, and she was one of those strict teachers. Now, some people got problems with strict teachers, but I don't. I like those kind of teachers because they level you up, they get you ready, they get you more sophisticated,
and they see something in you,
and they know what they talking about, and they get you up on your game to where you're able to be better than the average. They want you better than average, and that's what I like. So I got a C and ended up getting a C in her class, which, you know, I don't like C's. So I had said, I could write a book. So I wrote this book as if it was a essay or something for her class, and I'm sending it to her, going back and forth, meeting with her, and she was astounded by it, and she helped me edit like the first draft, and she pulled a lot out of me as far as, you know, what she saw I was trying to get out, you know, and I birthed it out, and then that's when she told me I need to find an editor or a publisher, you know, because I had no knowledge of how to go about that. Right. So I ended up finding that, and then I published the book. But the main reason why I wrote it in my own mind, aside from the confidence I was given by her, was the fact that I felt like I was challenged, man. I said, I'm not going out like that. I said, I can't continue to live on in this America and
just allow it to happen. Just allow things to happen that are unlawful, injustice, you know.
Not even just that. I can't go on with people looking at me and judging me as a black male like they judge Trayvon Martin. Right. You understand? Yeah. Because Trayvon Martin had both of his parents, and I'm somebody who don't have no parents, and I grew up around gangs. I don't have church-going parents. And I don't have my father in the house. So I said, let me write this book so that way they'll understand that we not what they talking about. You know what I mean? We smarter than what they we smarter and we more educated and we more prepared than what they really think of us. They not about to just shoot me down in the street. Right. If they shoot me down in the street, it's gonna be because I'm taking on white supremacy in a way that they don't want it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's sad because like it's, you know, discrimination, it still exists, but it's covered up with policies, loopholes and all that stuff like that. I mean, you know, I get it, man. I get it. But like how did it affect you, man? Like how bad did it affect you when you see another black man or a black boy get taken down like that, just like gunned down in the street, you know what I'm saying? Or just happen to walk late at night and they get harassed? Like, how did it affect you, man?
It affected me way more than others. Really to the point where I want revenge in a way, you know. As far as, but I'm only one person, and this is a big world. This is, you know what I mean? And not everybody is in our community. Not everybody in our community is ready to go to the extreme for their people.
That extra mile.
Yeah. So because of that, I had to learn that. You know what I mean? I thought everybody would feel the same way I feel or see what I see. But they do. they see it and they feel it, but some people don't have the courage, the education, or just the intelligence to go about it.
Right.
Because they do everything they can to deprive us and distract us. And plus, when you have so much self-hate embedded into a culture and into a system, then it's war within ourselves before we're able to wage war with other people.
Right.
Or with white supremacy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We got to fight the war within ourselves before we're able to recognize and wage war on white supremacy.
Right. That's deep. That's deep right there, man. That's deep. You make a good point there. You know what I'm saying? I give you that right there. You make a good point. So what do the listeners, what will the listeners expect from this book, man?
They can expect, a lot of people say, oh, we need solutions. We need, and they're right. And that's what I'm doing in this book. I'm giving you solutions. I'm giving you information and intel on certain aspects of perceptions, identity, history, that you can go about to fulfill yourself with knowledge, and to also give yourself some gravity and put some leverage onto what you're able to give and what you have within yourself to be in this America. And I have chapters, what can we do to avoid poverty in our communities? Why should we consider becoming more educated? Why is it important to learn our history?
Till how did we get here as African Americans, and then what is African American? Because African Americans go from Chile all the way to Canada.
Also, that we were also considered Spanish because the Moors were the ones who went into Europe during the Dark Ages and taught these different tribes.
Ellen Kane saw her act in 1928 and appropriated Jones's vocal stylings for a recording of I Wanna Be Loved by You. Jones's style, as imitated by Kane, went on to become the inspiration for the voice of cartoon character Betty Boop.
Of all oppressed peoples, including especially the working masses, specifically the laboring people of all the world.
Fritz Pollard was the very first black head coach in the National Football League, as well as one of the league's first black players.
All black people do not come from the same.
Rolling a drowsy, syncopated tune, rocking back and forth to a mellow croon. I heard a Negro play.
The Cage Bird sings, and that book really speaks to me because it speaks about a young African American girl that was raised at her innocence with her at a young age.
The importance of Dr. King's legacy to me is a story of faith, humility, strength. You know what I mean? To go through that struggle and still be able to wake up and do it.
I think it was a good thing, because during that time, it was a lot going on, and people dealing with slavery. All people in general should have equal rights.
Promoted her products by traveling around the country, giving lecture demonstrations, and eventually established Madam C.J. Walker Laboratories in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Lincoln Motion Picture Company was a black-owned film production company founded by the Johnson brothers in 1915 in Omaha, Nebraska. It was incorporated in 1916 in Los Angeles, California. Harriet Tubman was born in Dorchester County, Maryland in 1820 and successfully escaped a life of slavery in 1849. She led hundreds of slaves north to freedom, becoming the most famous conductor on the Underground Railroad.
Lincoln said to a nation far more divided than ours, "We are not enemies, but friends. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection."
Get the fuck over to the sidewalk.
Man, you ain't gotta talk to us like that, man. We live right down the street.
Didn't I tell you to get the hell off the street?
It's our job to teach our youth more about Black history, so we can, start to love one another. If we love one another, eventually people will do the same too.
So as far as the Trayvon Martin case goes, why was Trayvon Martin his own cause of death? So because America basically put all this weight onto Trayvon Martin as far as why he was killed. He didn't kill himself for him to be his own cause of death. He got somebody picked up a gun and shot him. You know what I mean? Somebody pursued him.
Yeah.
When they were told not to, and he was followed for a period of time, and the person reached for his gun as he was following him. All these actions and these things that could have been avoided, he could have just walked up to him and talked to him.
Like gave him protocol.
You know what I mean? Told him, hey, I'm neighborhood watch, blah, blah, blah. But he wanted to shoot him.
Right.
Just like these police out here.
Without any proper protocol.
Yes, just like these police out here who be thinking, oh, he has a gun, or put your hands up and do this. They want to kill us. They don't want us. Just like the hands up, don't shoot movement and all that and everything else. They want to shoot us. What's his name? Got killed. Eric Gardner got killed
Michael
out there
Brown
selling cigarettes. You know what I mean? He got killed and jumped in front of a store selling cigarettes. You know what I mean?
Selling cigarettes.
But it's okay for them to sell anything. Now they selling weed. They got weed in medical shops on every block.
Legally.
Yeah.
Legally.
So if the black community can't make money off of it, then but the white, we can't make money off of it and we can't sell it. But the government can, the system can.
Right.
And basically the point I'm trying to get to is when they put all this weight onto Trayvon Martin's death, as far as why he was his own cause of death, means to me that his skin color was his own cause of death. You get me? Because they putting all this weight on him, saying, he was suspended in school and this and that, and that's only one little incident.
Right.
And Trayvon Martin, Trayvon Martin getting suspended from school has nothing compared to what I've done in my schooling. And look at me writing this book.
Right.
So if you guys want to talk about somebody, if America wants to judge somebody and talk about somebody's past, they need to take a look at me or every other young black male out here who has faced adversity and has done something better and gracious and good in their life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Before they make a affirmation about somebody because of where they come from or what skin color they are.
Right. That's facts, bro. Facts right there. So I'm pretty sure you watched the trial. You watched the whole trial.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Like, give us your take, man, when you was watching this trial. Like, your outlook on that, man. Cause
that trial was like, when I was watching, I don't know if it was like a game or an act, but I could have sworn that trial looked like an act to me.
Right.
Like none of them gave a damn about Trayvon Martin.
Right.
Because they even his defense, the prosecution, defense, and the judge all looked like they were trying to put on a show to make it look like they're doing something, doing their job.
Right.
Making legal sacrifices and legal determinations as far as how the case goes or the proceedings of the case. And it looked like a show to me. I saw certain body language that was not genuine. I saw certain facial expressions that was not passionate. I saw even the prosecution and the presentment of the cases was not, the arguments presented in the cases was not was not passionate. It was not from the heart. It looked like it was
like they didn't want to get to the bottom of it and all. Now,
role play.
Now, not to cut you off. Now, you mentioned in the book that the jurors had spent over 16 hours in deliberation trying to like debate whether or not if Zimmerman is guilty or not, right? And that was a great point that you mentioned in your book. And the most powerful thing that you mentioned in the book is to where they found they found this loophole.
Not using good judgment. When he was in the car and he called 911, he shouldn't have gotten out of that car.
They looked at him as this hero. And bottom line here, that's not cool to look at Zimmerman as a hero when Trayvon Martin didn't have a gun on him. You see what I'm saying? Now, I heard the 911 tapes, the recordings, a while back. And when I was listening to these recordings, I mean, Trayvon Martin was begging for his life. You see what I'm saying? Now, I know these guys, they fought and everything like that, but he was trying to get away from Zimmerman. Now, that was just cold how the way they went about it, spending 16 hours. You see what I'm saying? 16 hours?
Yes. Now, if I come off of that, now what I want to say, why I said that in the book is because that whole 16 hours was not spent trying to find a way to convict George Zimmerman at all, because that was simple right there. The facts were clear. Everything presented to the jury and to the court was clear. They could have gave him, he had the options of first degree murder, second degree murder, or manslaughter. All evidence stood strong as far as getting a conviction and a time sentence for all three of those charges right there. But what that 16 hours was about was them trying to find a niche or a loophole, rather, like you said, to get him off. And this stand your ground law that a lot of people never heard of.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to go with, the stand your ground law.
Came out of nowhere, and that's what that, they their mind was made up, man. They weren't trying to, that's how hard they worked.
Yeah.
To get him 16 hours. That's almost 20. That's almost a day.
Right.
That's almost a day trying to get him off of killing that black boy.
And because you made another great point in this book here, though, another great point is that if the roles were reversed to where it was like a 29-year-old black man kill a 17-year-old white boy or a white kid,
white Hispanic as he calls himself,
right, he would have got jail time, no question about it.
Yeah, it wouldn't even been
manslaughter.
Televised. It wouldn't have not been televised.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been underground conviction, first degree murder.
Right.